Hello YouTube, this is Silver Age Dave. Today is Friday, October 5th, maybe, yeah, 5th. And it's been a while. I haven't really been in this comic room in quite a bit. I've been away from YouTube. I have caught a few things. My great appreciation, humbly, to everyone who sent so many well wishes and wonderful notes. Not only on my last video, but I've had a bunch of you guys sending emails and texting, and you guys know who you are. So anyone who's reached out, who's thought about me, I so appreciate it. I did catch wind of well, I'm going to call it a Silver Age Dave hats off thing. Night Tiger started. And I've seen a couple of those, and again, so appreciate it. I'm going through a little bit of a mental battle. It's not a physical battle. You know, I've got quite a bit of testing scheduled for, you know, October and November. They're looking at all kinds of different things and scans and imaging and all that. So I'm not too terribly worried. What I've been getting is about a day a week where I have, you know, I'm going to call it very clear thought, and I'm using that as wisely as I can, you know, for my business and for my family, trying to stay straight on all that stuff. And you know, surprisingly, my sleep pattern is getting back to where it used to be. Not exactly back to where it used to be. I used to be a 3 to 4 hour night sleeper, and I'm averaging a lot more than that still, but on those days when I have clarity, I'm finding I'm able to put in long days, and so that's good. And but I'm still going to be off for a bit, and you know what's happened, and I might have described this before, or I don't know if I did, but basically what happens is I'm going to say needless information that I take in is pushing out other information that I need to have. And so I can't risk, I'm not even reading comics right now. I'm not watching TV. I'm staying off of YouTube. I'm cutting out as much external stimulus as possible, and I'm just focusing my energies on the things that I have to focus on, you know, regarding, I'm going to not say deep thoughts, like, who is that guy, Jack Handy, Phil Hartman? Not quite like that, but anything that requires thought, I'm just focusing my energies where I have to, and you know, if there's any left over, then you know that's okay. But you know, there hasn't been a whole ton left over, so I do appreciate people thinking about me. So I did see a Metarog Rogers reach out to me, you know, on email, and he said, hey, you know, be sure you give us an update. So let me give you an update, okay? Enough with the garbage and the bad stuff. Let me tell you the good stuff is I finished that 50-mile race. I don't even think I have the medal for it, but I finished 50 miles, what was that, maybe a month ago, and I felt fantastic afterwards, okay? And I'm talking physically fantastic. I had very little muscle soreness, and you know, I looked at my training plan that I've used in the past for 100-mile events, and I thought, Dave, if you really work hard over the next month, that 50-miler fell right in line on the training plan. So I signed up for a 100-mile ultra marathon. These things are kind of two races in one. The first race, I'm just going to walk around because I'm pacing. I'm high energy right now. The first race is the first 80 miles, which I don't want to say that's easy. But for someone trained for these events, the first 80 miles should come relatively easy. Okay, if all goes well, if you stick to your plan. The second race starts at mile 80, where it is really all mental. And by saying mental, what I'm saying is it's all heart. Everything in you at 80 miles is telling you to stop. This is very difficult, rugged terrain where, you know, this is, I'm calling it a mountain run. It's in between, it runs between Titusville, Pennsylvania and Oil City, Pennsylvania. There's a portion that I'm going to say is part of the Alleghenies. You have 17,000 feet of climbing over the course of the 100 miles, and that has an equivalent 17,000 feet of descent. And the climbs are very difficult. The descents are extremely difficult. You're coming down rocky and very steep terrain. That stuff, even if it doesn't rain, that stuff is wet and mossy, and you know, just downright dangerous. And you're using your quads to basically as brakes, and it's hard for me living in flatlands to train for this. So that's, if I'm going to burn up, that's where it's going to burn me up, is those descents. And you kind of have to stop yourself because you fall, and it's just very dangerous. So I signed up for that race. It was sold out. The waiting list was closed. It was so long. And I reached out to the race director. His name's Tom, and he's an awesome guy. And I explained to him my past 3 years, the health issues I've had, and I explained to him the last year and where I'm at now. And you know, one night, just in the middle of the night, I got this email saying, "Hey, this is it, first come, first serve." And there were 3 or 4 of us on that email. And I happened to be awake at that point. Like I said, it's like 2:30 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and I jumped on it, and I'm the only one on that list that made the race. So I'm racer number 174. The race is tomorrow. So I'm going to try to put this video out today, Friday. This is October 5th. And the race basically starts tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. We're going to line up. It's, you know, sunrise is at 7:30. So we have headlamps. You got gear. There's going to be aid stations about every 7 to 10 miles. And aid stations are awesome. They're you know, well staffed, high energy, well lit. But here's the details on the race. It's called the Oil Creek 100-mile trail run. And it's, like I say, it starts tomorrow at 5 a.m. They give you till Sunday at 1 p.m. to finish. I'm number 174. And I just want to tell you guys how powerful you are. You know, in 2010, I couldn't run a quarter mile. I remember trying. I was bent over. I felt like I was going to throw up. Couldn't breathe. And, you know, my first marathon was at the end of 2011. Starting 2012, I ran a January marathon, an April marathon, which are the 2 I've run this year, which is the Polar Bear Indoor Marathon I ran this past January. It was my first one in a long time. And then I ran the Glass City Toledo Marathon back in 2012, and I did that again this year. And then I ran a 50-miler, and then I ran my first ultra marathon in 2012. Okay, and this is in 2010. I'm not kidding you. I was so overweight, I couldn't run. It was terrible. And so this is what I got for that first ultra marathon. I'm getting another one this year. I don't know if I'll finish. I certainly don't feel like I trained hard enough to finish. But you know, we'll see where my heart is after 80 miles. And pending injury. Some people break things and have to be pulled out of the race. But I'm going to give it my best. And so that's the update. Is I'm not a guy who sits around. I'm, you know, as any of you might imagine, I'm a pretty high energy, pretty dedicated guy. I have clear thought. I've been working hard the last few days to rest. I've slept and napped, and I hopefully have the stuff to finish. I want to show you now. I don't expect anyone to watch this thing. There's nothing really to watch, but there is they have a website. It's right here, oilcreek100.org, and they have, like, right here, they have results and limited split times. Okay, so it's not like live tracking, but as you check into some of these aid stations, there's sometimes going to be volunteers who will take your information and they will post it online where people are at. And historically what happens is during the daytime Saturday, you'll get some of those split times, some of those updates, and it'll say, okay, you know, bib number 174 checked in at Petroleum Center or at Miller Farm, and it'll give a time. And, you know, like I said, it's treacherous terrain, so it's slow going. They are calling for some pretty bad weather, lots of thunderstorms overnight, and it gets cold. Okay, even if the temperature says 65, well, that means down in the valleys it's, you know, maybe in the 40s or you know, low 50s. So they lose a lot of their volunteers overnight. And so what friends have done in the past is they try to watch for my splits through the night, or they wake up at 6 a.m. and like, oh, I wonder where Dave is. And if you don't get those updates, it's because, there's just not enough volunteers to staff these stations. These are in the middle of the woods, in the middle of nowhere. And if they don't have enough people to staff the station, certainly don't have enough people to run in splits. But eventually those, the times that they have get on there. I'm hoping to finish sometime Sunday morning, but they give you till 1 o'clock. That's the cutoff. And anyway, that's my update. It's a long one, but that's what my weekend's going to look like. I'm hoping to wake up tomorrow morning and feel great. I'm feeling good now. Guys, I am thinking of you. My thoughts will be on you and of course on my family this weekend. And I'm hoping come Monday I can, or Tuesday or Wednesday or someday next week, I'll give an update and let you guys know how things went. So never discount yourself. Okay, I had 3 years recently that I could not run. Okay, I went from running a 100-mile race to running nothing. And you know what? Since November 1st was my first run. November 1st of 2017 was my first run in 3 years. And I've already completed a 50 this year. I'm going to complete this 100. And next year's going to be a running year for me too. Some things you don't want to give up. That's one of them for me. Guys, stick to your guns. Have faith in yourselves. Believe in yourselves. I believe in you. With that, Silver Age Dave is out.